Good morning, guys. We are back with the vlog. I am back from England. I've been gone for almost 3 weeks. And I did miss this vehicle. So what are we doing today? Today is the monthly Pcar breakfast. So we're gonna head to that and we're gonna do a little talk about what's going on, updates, everything like that with the podcast. We'll talk about Goodwood a little bit. But Aaron, go ahead and hit that music. Let's get started. Guys, so glad to be back here in the U.S. It is the morning. We're going to Pcar breakfast. I was in England for about 2.5, almost 3 weeks. Hanging out with friends, going to Goodwood. What an amazing event! I have never been to Goodwood before. Excuse me if I sound a little stuffy. I have the sniffles. It sounds ridiculous to say I have the sniffles, but I'm a little congested. So if you guys notice that, that's what that's from. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Just roll the windows up some. At least that one, so there's not echoing. But back in the U.S., happy to be back. I did enjoy my time there. Like I said, I've never been to England before. It was absolutely outstanding. Probably was nice that we had a lot of friends there. Met up with tons of Pcar Family guys, a bunch of guys in the Pcar Club that we met up with there. And that's the whole reason behind this, right? The Pcar Club is so we can meet up globally, anywhere, at any time, for any event. That's basically what, and I wanted to be an example of that. It's like, I reached out to the club members that are, Pcar Club members that are out there in England, and they were at Goodwood, and some of them couldn't make it to Goodwood, but I hung out with them at a pub too, and we went for a drive. And I mean, that's the whole reason behind what we're trying to do and why we created that. So if you don't know, go to our website, pcartalk.com, and become a Pcar Club member. It's under virtual membership. Enough about that. But Goodwood was amazing, absolutely amazing. It was I really have a hard time describing how exciting the event was, because literally everything and anything you think that you thought you saw or you're going to see there, it tops it, because there are things there that I didn't even know what to expect to see, and I ended up seeing it. For example, like, I'm sure you guys have heard of the brand De Tomaso. They made the Pantera, the Mangusta, those type of vehicles. Well, guess what? They have been basically bought out, and there's only a name they've been bought out, and they're making a new car. They had their actual vehicle prototype there that they're going to make, and it absolutely looks stunning. It looks just like an old school 70s Le Mans race car, essentially. And they've made it out of a carbon monocoque, so it meets all the safety regulations that it needs to meet, and it's super lightweight. They didn't share any numbers with us while I was there, but it wasn't just a roller. I mean, it fired up. It sounded absolutely menacing, and it went up the hill climb. It was just outstanding. Just like stuff like that. Like, you're never going to see stuff like that in the U.S. You're just not. And, you know, they had the Apollo that was there. You may see that car at, you know, I don't know what, you know, some type of... Actually, you probably wouldn't even see it in the U.S., to be completely honest with you. So that car was there. I mean, the Koenigsegg, Jesko, they're only making 100 of those. You're never going to see that in the U.S. until they actually... I mean, it's a pre-production car. It's not even out yet. Just stuff like that you're going to see. I would highly, highly recommend you guys go if you haven't been. It should be a bucket list item. If you, I mean, you don't have to be just a Porsche person to go to that event. If you are just a caraholic, that is essentially your mecca. You know, if you're, you know, familiar, if you're a religious person. But that's where you need to go. It's so good, as a matter of fact, that I plan on making that part of my annual trips. Now, conveniently, I have friends there, so it actually diminishes some of the costs where I can stay with them. You know, it's mainly travel costs at that point. At least I don't have to pay for lodging. But, again, the sun is in my eyes. Give me a second. Sunny Florida. But the weather was outstanding that we had there. We got really lucky. You know, as opposed to most of our friends that live there and telling us with the weather. It was like low 70s, high 60s that morning, but it cleared up by noon, which it really, for cliche purposes, it didn't really rain on my parade, even though it did rain. I still had an outstanding time. It wasn't even a blip on my radar of like making me upset or sad or any of those things, because I would say the only detriment that I had, that I didn't get to see a couple of the cars that would have ran that morning because of the wet on the track. And so let's rewind a little bit for everybody who's watching. There's a lot of people that probably don't even know what Goodwood is, right? So it's probably better if I give a little bit of explanation about Goodwood, excuse me. So Goodwood is in England. It's at the very southern, geographically, the very southern tip of England, down by the beach. A reference point would probably be close to like Portsmouth area, but it's in Chestershire, England, and it happens every year at the beginning of July. So that's the Goodwood Festival of Speed, and now they do a revival. They have been doing a revival, not now they do a revival, but they have been doing a revival that happens in September. Now the revival is just vintage racing only, and everybody dresses up, so it's almost kind of like a themed event. This is kind of like all comers. Like, this has, the one I went to is like new cars, old cars, it's a blend. That was great. Like, I would love to check out both. So now that you guys know where it's at, so it's in the southern part of England, and I've been told the weather there consistently is pretty good. You know, that's where the wealthy go to like have their beach houses essentially in England. You know, as far as like, you know, we go and put our beach houses wherever, you know, pick the place in the U.S., you know, in South Beach or wherever, or in California, or any of those types of places. But that's essentially what that is for them. So the area is very, very nice. All the houses there are huge. But anyways, so it's on this monster property. I don't even know the acreages. I have thousands and thousands of acres. It's on Lord March's property. He's heavily into racing. So he's a lord. He lives on the land. He has this monster place. But he's built all these racetracks on his land. He's been doing it since the 90s, this Goodwood Festival of Speed. And now here we are, fast forward to present time. It's super, super busy. It's super, like, hundreds of thousands of people runs a dam, goes to it, essentially, and they bring out every like badass car they have coming out or has come out recently for them, excuse me, to show off. So this is the place where you're going to go see everything, and not even just the static display. They actually run the cars. And what I mean by that, there's a hill climb there, and it takes, you know, for the fast cars, well under 60 seconds to run it, but the slower cars over 60 seconds. But it's a technical like hill climb. I kind of like that setup. Me personally, I don't know, how you guys feel about it, but I love seeing the cars run. I love being able to hear them. And these guys aren't really, when the guys that are driving the cars, most of them are ex-race car drivers, or actually current race car drivers, or have a serious skill in the racing event because they're DE drivers. And the reason why I'm telling you that is when they get in the cars, they absolutely rip the shit out of them. Meaning, like, they dump on it at the line. They have a burnout box before they get to the line so they can hook up. These guys are actually going for it because they're qualifying. They have qualifying runs because on Sunday they have the shootout, which is basically, the top time wins. And you can win your class or you can win the overall event. So there is a purpose to it in a way as well. So it's kind of a dual purpose. It's a car event where you have static displays, but those cars are actually running. They run them twice a day. And the paddocks that they keep the cars in, they're not like roped off. You can go in there and literally, like, I wouldn't recommend it because it's just bad etiquette, but this is just an example. You could go and touch the cars. Like, we were standing by the 917s. They had the engine bays open. Some of the doors were open. Like, I could stick my hand in there and grab the steering wheel if I want. That's how close they let you be to the cars, and they don't care. So that's a rare feat in itself, to be that close to vehicles, to be that close to cars, and to have them fired up right next to you. Like, in the U.S., I know Rennsport, they let you walk around in the paddocks and things like that and get close to the cars, but not at that level. Like, not at the level that I'm describing. Like, when they're doing stuff, now you have to be respectful, obviously. If the crews are in there doing stuff to the cars, you can't be in there, like, handing them a wrench. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. But I'm just trying to convey the point is you can really get up close and personal, and everybody there is so friendly. If you want to ask questions, you want to do things, they're all for it. Like, a friend of ours that we met up with while I was there goes back to this global Pcar thing. Yanko Lind, he has a YouTube channel. I did an interview with him while we were there, and then we walked around the 917 Porsche paddock, and we just did a whole impromptu, like, walk around. He filmed me walking around, describing the cars. I filmed him. We were talking about the cars, touching the cars, talking to people. We did a walk around, got behind the scenes. Like, I just felt so welcome there. It's unbelievable. It had nothing to do with us being Pcar Talk either. We could have been anybody. It didn't matter. You didn't have to have special access to do that. And Yanko and I took advantage of that. So, again, go check his channel out. Super cool guy. Big into Porsche. Just a really good overall, content developer. His stuff is outstanding, well put together. He has access to some great stuff. And then, anyways, so back to the Goodwood itself. Highly, highly recommend it. I only went for the Sunday event. Some people, it's a 4-day event, if you didn't know. But yeah, it's one of those things where if you didn't know what it was, now you know. And if you did know what it was and you weren't sure how good it really is, because I mean, they show it on YouTube and you can see it, but I'm telling you guys right now, I've watched those like videos and the live streams from it too as well. It doesn't do it any justice. Like, these cars, the way they sound in person, the mics can't pick it up. You know that. There's decibel readings on mics. Like, they peak out after a while. Like, your ears can pick it all up. I mean, we're talking about F1 cars, straight piped V12 cars like the Apollo, like running at all the way high RPM, all the way wrung out. Like the Williams DLS Singer was there, hearing that car rip, at high RPM, like, you just cannot get the same sound and feel from a recording or a live stream or any of that. Like, you actually have to be there. And I hope I can try to convince you guys that if you're thinking about going, you need to go. You just need to do it. Like, just stop mucking around and just actually go. Because I was in your position before I went. I was like, well, you know, and everybody does it. I get it. Life shows up, and it's like, it's one of those things. It's like, oh yeah, I'd love to go. I want to do that someday. Plan for it. Make it happen. Like, do it. You will not regret it. Like, make a whole trip of it. You know, just obviously, if you're going to go across the pond, I'm talking to our U.S. people or wherever you're going to come from in the world. Make a week of it. You know, go do it. You know, the England thing. Go visit around. Go hang out at a couple places, and then, you know, then go to Goodwood for a day or two. Like, do both. Like, Aaron and I talk about it on the podcast all the time. Take advantage of the situation. Like, if you're going to go there, do multiple things while you're there, right? Like, that's just kind of like common sense. That's not something where you have to, like, that we came up with. That's everybody in the world does stuff like that. Just make the most of your trip, and I promise you won't regret it. Like, it was totally insane, and I will definitely be back for sure. That's how much of an impact it left on me. Like, it was nonstop. We walked in there at 7 a.m. That's when the doors opened, and we didn't leave till 7 p.m. That's when they closed. But it was just epic. So, like, what we ended up doing, a friend of mine and I, is we ended up driving down Saturday night from his house, which is about 2 hours away. He lives in Bromsgrove. So we had to go 2 hours south. So then we got there, and they have these beer gardens at these pubs, which was super nice. We ended up, like, he has camping equipment. We ended up just camping the night there. You're allowed to do that. So we, you know, put up a couple tents in the beer garden, and then we stayed the night there Saturday night, hanging out at the pub. I hung out with Yanko and Eric, both from Sweden, great guys, and we just spent some time drinking some brew and talking about Porsche, which was great. I mean, that's what this is all about. Like, I keep emphasizing this because I am so passionate about it, and I believe in it so much about this Pcar Club thing, because I wanted to be example. We're doing it. Like, this is happening. Like, and you guys, I hope you guys can get on board with it, because all of you guys can do this too. And, like, we want to be the network to put everybody together, you know. Like, this is the microcosm. This is the cell where this can all live, where everybody can find each other. Everybody can talk to each other, because you guys will all be in the same network. You'll have the excuse, oh, I'm a Pcar Club member. Okay, yeah, I am too. Let's meet up. Oh, yeah, I'm in Stockholm. Oh, awesome. I'll meet you for a coffee. I'll bring my Spider and we'll come hang out. You want to check it out? Yeah. You want to go for a ride in it? Yes. That's the whole purpose behind this. Instead of being some, like, creeper on, you know, Instagram or Facebook, being like, hey, you know, I see that you're into Porsches, and I'm going to be in your area. Do you want to meet up with me? At least you have an excuse now. It's almost kind of like we have an excuse to interview people. Hey, I'm Mike with Pcar Talk. I want to do an interview with you. Oh, okay, yeah. It gives you that open introduction that breaks down that barrier where you're just not some, like, weirdo. is over. Got to hang out with everybody. What a great meet. We had probably about 15 cars again. That was great. Met a bunch of people we didn't know. So thank you guys so much for coming out. And what a great event. We're going to keep doing this once a month because it puts everybody together. See ya. It's an opportunity for everybody to eat, talk, hang out, share stories. Exactly what we're trying to do with the Pcar Club. So yeah, great turnout again. It's a little steamy outside now. It was nice earlier. Humidity's kicking in. So it was a great event. Want to thank you guys so much for supporting us. Everybody who's watching, thank you guys so much. Thank you for believing in what we're doing and being part of everything that we're doing. Please let us know in the comments what you guys thought. Is it a good turnout? You know, what were some of the cars you saw that you liked? I want to thank the Suncoast Parts guys for coming out. And Mike from Porsche of Tampa with the Reeves family. Like, it was great to see all you guys. We got to network with some artists that are going to be doing some stuff with us coming up as well. So great opportunities all the way around. It was just a great breakfast. It was great to see everybody. You know, I've been out of the country for a while. Also, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing below. And if you're a repeat offender and you're a Porscheaholic like the rest of us and you're following us on a regular basis, thank you so much. Tune in to the next episode. I think it'll be our Goodwood thing that's coming out on Friday. So make sure you tune in for that. It'll be all the Goodwood stuff. And remember, every Thursday we have a podcast as well. Thank you guys.